Well, hello and thanks for joining me here on my latest episode of Chasing Shadows with me, Dave Tarrant, where today you join me in Berkshire. We're going to be fishing the River Kennet. Our target species today are going to be chub or barbel. Now, we're mid-October and we've had a lot of rain. The river's really carrying a lot of extra water and conditions are not going to be good. It really is carrying a lot of colour. So that means one thing for me today. I'm going to have to use a really smelly bait. And there's only one bait for me, and that's a good old lump of spam. So what I'm going to do in this video is to show you how I go about using spam and see if we can wingle out one of those barbel and chub.
Right, so the luncheon meat, as you can see, I've got some big old lumps of luncheon meat. I've only got a small amount because we're only on a short session today. I've only got about 4 hours. I'm going to fish into dark. To hand. So what I've done last night is I've chopped a tin of spam up into about sort of 1-inch squares, and I put a load of garlic paste on that and let that sort of infuse onto the bait overnight, and believe me, that absolutely stinks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish that straight onto the hook. Right, tackle wise, I've got myself a nice 12-foot 1.75 test curve rod, and I've got myself a 5000 style bait runner reel, and that's loaded up with 12-pound line right through it. And then down to the business end, we got ourselves a nice little lead clip system there. Got a 4-ounce lead, quite heavy, but there is still a bit of flow there, and I'll use this. I've got a semi-fixed bolt rig here, as you can see, a little tail rubber, and then that goes down to about a 15-inch fluorocarbon hook length, going down to a big number 6 quarter wide gate hook. And as I said earlier, I'm going to fish the luncheon meat straight into the luncheon meat with that hook, and I'll show you how I do that now. What you need is one of these big old stringer needles, quite long, and they've got a little hook on the end, as you can see. Absolutely brilliant for pulling the hook through. So as you can see the hook there. What I do is hook that onto there, pull that straight through the meat, and then do half a turn straight back into the meat. And then, believe me, that will hold. That'll go through quite a few swims, and that'll probably see me through about 2 or 3 swims. That's if the little crayfish don't get it before a barbel or a chub. So one more thing just before I cast out with the luncheon meat. I've got this spray, which is a spray you can get from any good supermarket, and it's a garlic oil spray. And what I do is just give that a little spray just before I put that out into the swim, just to boost it up. And I do that every time I reel in, just to boost the bait up, because you know, the garlic paste that I put on probably would have washed off, but that just gives it a little bit of an extra boost. Right, so that's all the tactics that I'm going to be using today. Hopefully we can put them into good use and maybe catch ourselves a nice barbel or chub for the camera. So we're sort of mid-October now. We have had quite a bit of rain, and it has been sort of difficult to get out on the rivers, but the rivers are now starting to sort of look quite fine actually, and they are fining down. So good chance of a barbel or a chub. So right, let's see if we can put all this into practice and catch ourselves a fish for the camera for you.
So I've found myself a nice little slack area to the right of me, just out of the flow. It's just an ideal place to put a bait. So I'm going to give this swim about 20 minutes. I've got my eye on a few other swims, so I'm going to give this a good go and then move on to the next swim. So now it's just a case of sit back and relax, and hopefully we can make an acquaintance with Mr. Barbel or Mr. Chub.
So just to let you know what I look for in a slack area. So do you know what I mean is somewhere behind a tree or just in an open area. You don't want to be fishing sort of in the fast flowing area, especially when the rivers are in flood. I definitely won't be fishing in those areas sort of now, or where the water's sort of bubbling. Fish are going to be in the sort of quieter areas. You know, they're going to not be expelling too much energy. You know, they're going to be looking at just sort of looking around. Water clarity isn't very good anyway, so they can't see a lot, so they're relying a lot more on their smell and their senses. So they're sort of be in the undercut areas of the bank or they'll be in these sort of slack areas, just sort of waiting for a food morsel or something like that to come down. If they're in the fast areas, you know, they're going to be swimming a lot and they're going to be using a lot of energy, especially sort of in the colder months, and that's not good for them, like I say. So I like to look for the sort of quieter areas, you know, where there's hardly any flow. Undercuts are brilliant to look for, and that's sort of my interpretation of what I call a slack area. Right, the crayfish have moved in after that luncheon meat, so not good. So I'm going to move on, I think. So we've been fishing for about 2.5 hours now, fished about 3 swims, and we haven't not had a bite. So what I'm going to do, I've left the best swim till last, my banker swim. Light's starting to fade a little bit now, so I'm going to fish into dark, and I'm going to move on down there, and I'm going to probably see it out into that swim. So like I say, it is my banker swim, and let's hope we can pull a barbel or a nice chub out of that one. Nice chub. Oh yes. Wow, that looks like a really, really nice chub. Definitely a 5. Be nice to go to 6, but looks a good fish. So right, I'm going to get myself together and get my weigh sling out, get the unhooking mat in, see, oh, pardon me, see what it weighs. Right, oh, let her rest, and I think I'll finish my cup of tea. Right, well, I've unhooked it, and it looks a good 5. I don't think it's a 6, but what a nice looking chub that is. So right, let's see what it goes on the scales. Get that land in there. There. Right. Let's see. There's on the scales. Right. Oh wow, 6, 7. I don't know if you can see that. Well happy. Oh dear, yeah. Oh, that is brilliant. £6.7 from the Kennet on the luncheon meat. See, that's how we do it. So, oh, well happy with that. £6.7. So what I'm going to do, get a few stills and put it back, and I think probably have one more cup of tea, and I'm going to probably call it an evening. Right, let's get some. Let's put it back, rest it, and get a few stills. Wow, wasn't that a great chub? Really surprised that went to 6. That really did shock me. Did think it was a good 5, and didn't put up much of a fight really. Did pull the rod round though, shot out of the rod rest. So yeah, it took me by surprise. But yeah, well happy with that. And there you go, caught on that luncheon meat. Simple tactics. Caught that right close in the margin as well. Just threw a few little bits of broken up luncheon meat and let that sort of float down into the swim. I think it drew the chub up. So I've been fishing in this swim. Probably this is the last swim. It's my second banker swim. I usually sort of think I usually catch them out here if things are tough. So yeah, so have a go. Use your luncheon meat, especially in flood conditions. It definitely does sort out the fish. Good smelly bait like that. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, and I've got more videos to come, especially with the chub season coming up very soon. So thanks for viewing, and I'll see you soon on another episode of Chasing Shadows with me, Dave Tarrant.